There's so much vulnerability and depth that you both brought to Cooper and Emily, and there's so much trust that's needed when you're exploring that dynamic. How are you both able to create the space to push each other as creatives and artists, but also put those boundaries in place where you can separate yourself from your art?
Kevin, you always have the best questions. Um, that is something that we really, really specifically discussed
Hmm.
whenever we took this part, these roles.
Hmm.
We read the script and we saw how vulnerable we both have to be. And then also, you've seen the movie, the subject matter.
Mhm.
I like to talk about spoilers, or should I not?
I think you can, right? Because it's out
Yeah, it's
digitally
out.
now, right?
But like with the breakup scene and all of these things, we were very, very specific about, like, all right, when we drive home from set, we put the day away and we put these characters away. And we had talked about that. And then I think, I don't want to speak for you, but for me, I feel like we showed up and started doing it and it kind of happened naturally. And it just felt sort of easy breezy. And maybe that's because we had set those boundaries at the beginning.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. I think we were very intentional about, like, of course there's crossover because we're, who Hope and I are, and we're playing these characters, and there's going to be things that come out that are from our relationship and, what have you, that just sort of, two people being it's part of being an actor. So like I think the intention was to sort of create rules and to create boundaries and to be very, intentional about how we, enter in and out of certain scenes that are very difficult. But I think because we had that, it was easy to step in and step out, and the trust was just there that we could push each other to those scary places and then come out of it and be completely fine and be like, well, what do you want to do for dinner? Should we have pizza? So I thought initially it would be much harder than it was, but because
Mhm.
Hope is amazing and we have so much trust between the two between the two of us as actors, not just as a couple. Um, we just keep pushing each other.
There was also
Yeah.
one specific moment that I thought was cool where Daniel and I have very specific nicknames for each other and that we just call each other in life. And the director caught that and he was like, "Oh, I think I want Emily and Cooper to call each other that." And we were both like, took ourselves aside and we're like, "No,
No.
that's ours." We don't want to
Mm.
let too much of ourselves bleed into these characters.
Yeah.
I don't know how the two of you separated because these performances are incredible. And Daniel, it's a testament to everybody involved. But this is a film that you learn new things with each watch. And the performances that both you and Hope deliver are so engrossing, especially when it comes to Cooper's initial diagnosis and the impact that it has on him and everybody around him. There's also a lot of moments of levity and humor, which feels very slice of life. How much of that dialogue and humor was scripted versus improvised? And how did that freedom that Dylan gave each of you allow you to find those moments?
I think most of it was, well, we didn't really like venture off script too much. There was a few sort of, things that we maybe improvised, Hope and I did, but we stayed pretty true to the script.
Yeah. Dylan's script was very naturalistic. I think that was really intentional on his part. So it felt kind of easy to make it sound natural. There were little improvisations as far as some of our interactions. I think that is a gift of getting to work together where a lot of our physical interactions, because we feel so
Mm.
safe with each other, would be kind of playful and spontaneous. Like when he uses his shirt so that I can blow my nose, he uses his shirt to like blow my nose and wipe my tears away. Like
Yeah,
that's us. But for the most part,
it was all scripted. But Dylan also was great as far as he some directors like to call cut immediately after a scene's over, and he sort of let it linger, because then I think the opportunity to really find something that isn't scripted, that's alive, that only comes out of a scene, and where two people are, and we've had a few of those. I think we
yeah,
had a lot of those throughout shooting,
I think so.
and a lot of it made the cut, which was really, really cool. um yeah, but I stayed pretty true to the script. I think we both did.
Yeah,
So credit to Dylan for being a good writer.
yeah. Writing
Mhm.
how people talk.
Yeah.
And Hope, you're somebody who loves to do a lot of research ahead of a project, but Dylan wanted a lot of those discoveries to happen on screen, which I imagine there's so much vulnerability and surrender that you have to bring to this project because of that, which also feels very similar to theater where anything can happen. Did it feel, how helpful was it having that prior experience on the stage and that innate trust with Daniel as you approach this project and this character?
Oh, that's a great question. Um, I mean, I think like you said, in theater, you do have to, you do so much prep work and so much rehearsal that sort of enables the freedom on stage. And that's one of my favorite things about theater is like you do all this crazy amount of work and blocking and rehearsal so that you can let it go and just be open to whatever's happening in the moment. And you're right that in this particular process, Dylan was like, don't learn too much about OCD. And so it was a whole different type of trust and of listening in the moment that enabled me to learn as the scenes were happening, as each day was coming. Of course, I read the whole script and, and learned my lines and all that jazz. But the way that Daniel had embodied the things that he was learning and the way that he communicated all of that information to me was such a lovely gift in the moment that I got to just listen and receive. It was really special.
I feel like your character is like an audience member getting to absorb all this information for the first time. And Daniel, you've said in the past that there was a bit of fear heading into this project, which is a good litmus test for why you signed on for it. Having gone through this experience and seen the response that you've been able to provoke through your performance in such a versatile way through that Q&A at South by Southwest and now with this digital release, what did you learn about your own craft, having said yes to this project? What has it meant to you to see the impact that it's creating and will continue to create?
It's meant the world to me. I mean, not only has it given me, the most tremendous amount of confidence in my work and in my abilities as an actor, but it's just been incredibly rewarding. From the get-go, my thought was, I hope this film captures something that makes somebody feel less alone, whether it's OCD, whether it's any mental health issues, because of the universal themes that I think exist in the film. And to sort of see that really land with people, the message comes across that people are moved, that people are given permission to feel whatever their feelings are, to feel less alone, has just been incredibly gratifying and is just an incredible reminder of, why it is that I love doing this work, why this is my career with all the ups and downs, to have somebody at a Q&A at South by say, hey, wow, you guys nailed it. That's amazing. That's who this film is for. So it's just, it continues to be rewarding and it continues to be a beautiful, journey to be on, to sort of see how it's affecting people, especially now that we get to share it. So yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I'm really proud of it.
It's such an entertaining film, but it's also art that's creating impact. And I forgot to ask you this the last time we spoke, but one of the central themes within this film is community and the notion that we all need the help of others. Outside of Daniel, who have been the people in your own life who've shaped your journey as a storyteller and as an artist?
Oh my gosh. I think I was really lucky to, I really, since the first play that I saw, I knew that I wanted to do this. And I was really lucky to have a family full of, crazy, wacky artists. I have a bunch of siblings and a mom who was super into encouraging us to explore our passions. And so I got to go to like theater camp when I was a kid. And then I was really lucky to have, he actually came to a South by Southwest viewing. My high school theater teacher, Aaron Johnson. He was such an amazing theater teacher. And he was so encouraging and he treated me with such respect. He would send me all these plays that I didn't go to college, and I feel like I got a really, really beautiful theater education in high school just through his encouragement. And it was really cool. I got to invite him to come to a screening at South by Southwest since it was in Austin where I went to high school. It was really, really special. But yeah, all of my acting teachers, and then we have such a really cool community of friends out here who are kind of in the struggle with us as far as, making this our career and wanting to make art. It's such a, tricky career with its ups and downs. And so it's so nice to have a community that just you can lean on whenever you're at the end of your rope and you feel like you're going to quit, and you call them and they're like, just don't quit, hang in there one more day. And yeah, I love them. Friends, teachers. Sorry, that's too loose.
No, it's a credit to both of you. I feel like you always take on projects that do create that lasting impression on audiences. There's so much love that you feel between the two of you, both on and off camera. What is the scene of your partners in this film that you're most proudest of, and why?
Ooh, I this is just the truth, and it's maybe intense, but I didn't get to, while we were filming, I didn't get to watch the part where we have our breakup, and then I didn't get to watch what happened after I left. And when I
Mm.
first saw that in the theaters, I saw him so genuinely and in the moment trying to process information and not being able to, and having this like panic that felt so hard to watch. And I felt so proud of him for being brave enough to kind of show that lack of control and terror and uncertainty and heartbreak all unfolding in the moment. And he did it so seamlessly, and I watched it and my heart was broken, and I was also so impressed and proud. Just true.
I think my favorite scene, I mean, the one that stands out now is the exposure scene that I have with Emily. Because that was, I think, the first scene that Hope and I shot together. That was the first week of shooting, which is like, I mean,
Mm.
hilarious that we started, with that scene, I think on day 2 or day 3. I think it was for the best that we got that out of the way. But I was so nervous, not just as the character, but as Daniel, in front of Hope, having to sort of be this man walking around with any skin on, and having to sort of like, check in with his partner, understanding how crazy the situation is, but this is what I need to get help and to get better. Watching Hope take in the information with all the love and care that I know that she has, and to not judge it, and to hold space, and to encourage him, with just a look, is just like, I think, incredible. And it's like, one of her many gifts, but she has that in her eyes, that love and care and tenderness. And I just felt incredibly seen and supported and held. And then I watched it and I was like, yeah, there it is. There's, that's the relationship. So good job.
That's very sweet.
What a great
Sweet.
contrast to the next scene too, where you guys are in the car just laughing about everything that's going on. I got one final question for the two of you. Outside of Puro, what's next for each of you? And Hope, when are we getting that album?
I know, Kevin, I
Yeah.
know. Okay, what's actually really cool about that is that my friend Gavin Caswell is a really incredible musician. He's in the band since his fail, and he approached me about writing music with him, and I've been doing that, and it's been so much fun. There's no end date yet, but we have been getting together and writing music, and it's been really, really fulfilling and lovely. And we did a play pretty much all of last year,
Yeah.
where I got to play guitar and
that
sing.
you saw,
That you saw. Oh my gosh, yes. And I got to play guitar and sing, and it made me feel a lot more brave and a lot less terrified. And so that has been inspiring. And so it's my tank is full of fuel. So we should be getting more music from me sooner rather than later. And what's next?
Well, I mean, I don't know if, well, Hope and I were just in Chicago shooting something that we may or may not be able to talk about yet, but
we just can't stop working together, I guess.
And people keep hiring
There's
us
magic when the two of you are together.
So yeah, so we just got back a couple days ago, and it's going to be out, I think, at the beginning of May for a few episodes. We're really excited about it.
Amazing.
Yeah, so more soon.